Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Zach.
Hey, everybody, this is Sawyer. Welcome to the Come On Podcast. We're really glad you're joining us.
So come on and join us in the trenches.
Come on.
What I do know is we've been prepping for this worship in the alley and all the little things that we have for that. That has been just so cool to be a part of.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm also like, I've spoken in front of people, but I don't know, not in that kind of a setting.
Yeah, I know. On a stage, per se.
I can talk to dudes at a men's retreat, or I can talk to, I don't know. I might just be hyping it up too much.
I think it's the unknown of not doing it, in that setting.
Well, you put yourself in such a vulnerable, and I mean, it's the same thing with this podcast. You put yourself in such a vulnerable spot whenever you're talking about theology and, things that like really smart people talk about. And
been studying it for a lot longer than we have.
And I'll watch these YouTube videos and I'll think, not what am I doing, but like, man, it just kind of
intimidating,
exposes you.
Oh yeah.
It's intimidating, but so every Christian is called to do it. So it's not like you have to be qualified to do it. You are, if you're a follower of Jesus, he qualifies you to do it. And so he's going to give me something to say to somebody versus what he would get, Francis Chan to say to somebody, and just because they're super studied up on it or on this certain topic doesn't mean that I'm less qualified to talk about that same topic.
Right. Speaking of Francis Chan, don't you have a question for us?
I do. So this is not from my mouth, nor did I think of it. Yeah. I've read this same book. I think I've read this book twice. It's Crazy Love by Francis Chan. But my mentor Brandon, he's reading it right now. And I met with him yesterday morning for coffee, and we meet once a week and we just kind of discuss things going on in our lives, and he'll tell me things that he's learning, that he's reading about and learning. And it's really cool. He's getting his MDiv right now, his Master's of Divinity. And so he's all about talking about theological stuff. And so yesterday he asked me this question that he read in that book, and it got me thinking. So the question is, suppose, and I'm going to butcher it, but suppose today, like right now, you decided, or you woke up one day and you were like, I'm not a Christian today, or I'm no longer a Christian. Like you completely just stopped believing in Jesus. What would change about your life?
Yeah, so it was basically you lost your faith in Jesus.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't believe, you don't have the faith, right? So, yeah, what would change in your life? That is a very good question to make you kind of take some inventory of what you've been doing or what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah. Well, and it's not about this, but a good way to look at it is like, how would people approach you? Like, would people see a difference in you? Would people walk up to you and be like, what's going on with Zach, or what's going on with Sawyer? He's acting different today.
Yeah.
And not that it's about that, because, your relationship with God is between you and God. It doesn't matter. I mean, it matters how people perceive you to an extent, but it really matters, between you and God. But
yeah, I think I see 2 points, like just off the top of my head. One of them would be your faith. That's hard to answer, I know it's just a question to get you thinking, but you're like, so would you take a risk? And I'm not asking you, I'm just saying this is a question. Would you take a risk, say in life, without that faith in Jesus, knowing that he's there for you, so if you're just out in the world, people take a risk every day that aren't Christians, but would you? You know, which ones would you take? Which ones wouldn't you?
Yeah. And I was saying this morning, and I, I had just thought about this, but everything in life, I feel like, is preparing you for faith. Like it's God's little inputs in your life that are preparing you or building up your faith. Sort of like breathing, you don't think about every breath you take. It's not like an action you're taking. You're not thinking of every single step that it takes to inflate your lungs and then deflate your lungs, let the air out of your nose, your nose or your mouth. It's just, it's almost like your body is in auto, like it's just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with walking. You don't think about, oh, I hope the ground doesn't give out on this step. Oh, I hope the ground doesn't give out on this step. Oh, I hope my feet work on this step. I hope my body functions the way it's supposed to function. I hope, whenever you get out of bed in the morning, you don't think, oh, I hope I can stand today.
Mm-hmm.
You just do it.
Yeah. Just
And
automatic.
And sure, I guess there's instances where like a freak thing happens and you just can't stand, or like the ground gives out on you. But you're not sitting there wondering, is that going to happen? You just, it's faith, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of faith.
Yeah.
And God's showing you in a way, like there comes a point in your Christian walk where it's just, you just do it. Like God tells you, or you feel this nudge, or you feel like this is where God wants you, or this is where God's leading you, and then you just do it.
Yeah, I think the way that takes me to, though, so looking at it, if I lost my faith and you said, would people see me different, or would my actions be different? I think the question there that comes to my mind would be, would I lose my morals by losing my faith? Or which morals would I lose,
Probably not automatically, but over time,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because I think you would, obviously the kindness, things like that would probably look different, especially when people attack you or whatever. You probably respond differently without that faith, because, why not, I guess.
Right.
That's hard to answer.
I do a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
If I lost my faith in God,
Yeah.
I would.
Well, it's like, what's the point? Well, there's no end game
dangerous.
other than death if you don't have faith in Jesus.
Like,
you
what's
just die and go away. That's it.
What's the point in marriage?
Yeah.
What's the point in going to work?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess eating, but you want to eat and you want to be comfortable, I guess.
Wow.
You would be, inevitably you would just become the most selfish person that you can become. And that's not saying that all unbelievers are just the most selfish people ever. That sounds like we're just putting ourselves on a pedestal, but the Bible calls believers to a higher standard, and I think the Spirit in us exposes those things in us, and it makes us want something more. It makes us want what God wants.
Yeah.
It shines a big fat spotlight on everything that's selfish, everything that's sinful, and it shows how destructive that is. And honestly, it is destructive to us to sin, because like I said, I'd be the most selfish person. I wouldn't care about work. I wouldn't care about my marriage. I wouldn't care about my health. And not saying that because I'm a believer, I do all of those things perfectly, but I wouldn't think about it as much as I do right now.
Yeah, you wake up with a purpose because of your faith in Jesus and what He's done for us.
Right.
And what we want to do because of that.
Right. And I hate that persona that, because I know a lot of believers or unbelievers, and I put them in that category. I don't mean to. I'm just saying that people that don't believe, that haven't trusted in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, non-Christians, I hate saying that. It's like saying like women are non-men. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but people that don't believe in Jesus, not people that are not Christians, I don't think Christians are just like varsity people, you know, and then like non-believers are just JV, like they're on the bench, like they're almost there. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think that. And I don't think Jesus thought that at all. Jesus viewed people that didn't believe, and he didn't view them as projects either, or as people that he just needed to reach. Like, oh, if I could just get Sally, like, oh, then her life would be so much better. Yeah, sure. But he loves them, you know, and he did it out of love, not as, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think a lot of just whatever. I think a lot of non-Christians view Christianity in in a way that like they feel like they're a burden, or like they're a project, or they're, you know, just another thing to check off on a Christian's to-do list, you know, like if
Yeah. I think that goes to that question where they ask, like, when you read the Bible, do you hear God like in this big, deep voice, like yelling at you, telling you not to do this, not
the
to
sheriff
do that?
in the sky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or do you view it as like, man, come on, you know, this is the way.
Yep.
If you mess up, though, I still love you.
Yeah.
Here's the way that you can get forgiveness, you know, all the things.
Yeah.
I think that's the viewpoint. But you reminded me here of Ecclesiastes. It's 11:4. The whole chapter there, 11, is great. But it says that the farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. If they watch every cloud, they never harvest. Just as you cannot understand the path of the wind or the mystery of a tiny baby growing in its mother's womb, so you cannot understand the activity of God who does all things. But what it's talking about there with the farmer, I see that because if you didn't, to me, that's like having faith in Jesus or his plan, his will for God's will for your life. If you don't have that, or if you're just like, what if this, what if that, you're never going to do anything. So like the farmer, why even plant anything? Because it's going to rain. It's going to ruin my crop, you know? So
Right.
I don't know. Without faith, I just don't see the point in anything, you know?
I think the Spirit entering us whenever we believe in Jesus, and when we believe in his death, burial, and resurrection, whenever the Spirit enters us, that's kind of the Spirit's job, for lack of better words, is to expose those things in us. And it gives us a purpose. You wake up with like you said, if what did it say? It's like a farmer that doesn't plant or just watches the clouds and doesn't do anything about it. Like you can have all these dreams and all these great things that you want to do, and you just never do it. And that's the same thing. Like I know some Christians that, you know, they don't have a lot of drive, and that's not, you know, nothing against them. You know, I have a tendency to not want that, but I think like the Spirit in us kind of awakens that part of our lives where it's like, man, I can do more. You know, I can chase this. I can be successful at this, and not from a standpoint of like money or status or, you know, gaining something, but just purely out of love and out of service. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think,
so like, what if you just, I'm just thinking, what if you just woke up in the morning and was like, because of our faith in Jesus and what we're supposed to be doing, what if you just said, today, I'm just going to find that one person today.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wake up. So you have a purpose for life. I just can't, I mean, without the faith, and the thing is, I can't get past the part of like, I've got it now. I don't plan on losing it. I don't even see how you can lose it.
Sure.
So that's like the question of,
What did he say?
yeah, I know. So that's like the question of, can you lose your salvation or not? Once saved, always saved. We don't have to go way deep into that, but I believe that.
If you have it,
Yeah,
once you get it.
How could you lose it? I think the real question is, did you ever really get it?
Yeah. And go ahead.
Well, like I was going to say, when I was 8 years old and got baptized, I believe that I did that because other kids were doing it. I didn't really know what it meant.
Yeah.
I think that can happen to somebody, and you get that, unfortunately some people get the high or the experience of worship and things, and then that fades away. That it's kind of like watching a motivation video. If you don't do anything about that, when you get that motivation, it's just getting you hyped up for a 30-minute YouTube video.
Yeah, you just wasted 8 minutes of your life or whatever.
Yep. So you got to take action on it.
Well, also, I don't think you can lose it because you didn't really do anything to earn it or to gain it. You can't earn it or gain it.
Yeah.
It's a free gift. God gave it to you.
Yeah.
So how could you?
This is going to get deep because I can see where people are on both sides of the fence.
Oh, there's
definitely understand.
There's scriptures you need to have answers for and be able. You can there's scriptures that on both sides of the argument, like you're saying.
I just think that number one, the real question is, did you actually receive salvation? That's the question. I can't answer that for you, nobody else, and I'm not supposed to. That's between you and God.
We're diving off in it.
I know, I think
Let's go. Let's do it.
So then, the people that say, well, okay, well, in James, so if you earn it, right, in James, he said, faith without works is dead.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to do anything to earn salvation. But here's the thing to me. Mm-hmm. Once I got mine, I know I've got mine. Once I received salvation, I can't help but do the work.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that I feel like I owe it to anybody. I don't owe it to you to do it. I shouldn't say I do actually feel like I need to do it, but I don't feel like I'm doing it as a check mark. Hey, this is my job. I have a task to do every day, this, and this. I'm doing it because I feel like that's my calling. And that's
You're placed on mission.
Yeah, I'm on a mission.
Yep.
So
I'm about to find this verse, but look at that.
Wow, he's such a Christian. He's been reading his Bible so much the page fell out of it.
Smokes, that's James. All right, we're gonna put that there. It's not where that goes, but I can just quote this verse. It's a well-known verse. I'm not flexing or anything, but
I think. Are you going to?
I don't think you know the one I'm going to.
Oh,
I don't think you would be able to tell me.
Confess with your mouth.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I think it's John, 1 John 1:4. It's for from his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. Everyone has received grace, or everyone has been offered grace.
Yes.
Right? We can agree on offered. That. You've been like, it's a free gift. You decide whether you receive it or you reject it. It's period.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you got a choice.
It's a choice. You can't be like, I don't know, maybe I'll, no. Do you want it? That sounds like it.
Which verse did you think it was?
1 John 1:4. I can look it up on my phone, but I don't want to get on my phone again, like I done on the last podcast.
So the one I was thinking about is where they say confess Jesus is Lord. And I should know this one. I had it memorized at one point, but confess
if you believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, then you shall be saved. You will be saved.
Yep.
Period.
Yep. And so that's where I go back to. I know people are really hardcore. Again, I'm not really.
We're just talking.
Dude, I'm learning.
Yeah, we're just talking.
Exactly. Yeah. So when somebody confesses and they truly believe that Jesus is Lord and Savior, and they confess that with their mouth and they believe it, that's the key part. Believe it in your heart, then you shall be saved.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, you cannot help but do the works that that I believe that you're called to do by the Lord.
Yeah.
So when somebody says that they're saved, but they don't produce the fruit, or you can't see the fruit, I forget where that's at. Also in the Bible, it says that you'll know them by their fruit.
Right. Jesus
You're
said
not
that.
producing that fruit. You got to question, are you really saved? And I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying we need to be going around judging people. That's not what we're getting at. We're just getting at, like, we're just dissecting this.
Right. Well, man,
I cannot believe we're on episode 6 and we just went
crazy?
right into this.
And like the reason, I think one reason, like I said earlier, I think one reason I feel safe, I say safe talking about this is because like the Bible tells me to talk about this. Like the Bible talks about it, so I should talk about it. But that doesn't mean that I'm 100% right, or my perception or my interpretation of the Bible is 100% right as the gospel. But I have to talk about, I'm called to talk about what this book says.
Yeah.
And so and I'm still learning, and so are you. And I don't think there's anyone on the planet Earth today that has reached peak Christianity. I'm pretty much guarantee you, nobody's reached that. And I don't think that's a thing you can reach unless you're God. Because in order to reach that, whatever that is, I don't even think that's a thing, is to be God. And so we can never fully understand what this book says. And so the Bible also says to know God is to love God.
Mm.
So, and we're called to seek it. I think it's either Proverbs or Psalm, I don't know. But it says to seek it like it's hidden treasure. We're supposed to be, we're finding these answers. We're seeking it out. And it's something that, like, I believe our bodies and our minds and our souls yearn for, is to know God more. And how can I know God more? How can I know God more other than talking about it? I have to talk about it, and I want to ask people about it, and I want to bounce ideas off of people. And that doesn't mean that I'm right or what Zach's right or what we say at the end of the day is just gospel truth.
Yeah.
But that just means that we want to learn more. We want to know God more. And so, but we also don't want to lead people astray. So y'all, don't take what we say as gospel truth. Search it for yourselves, look it up and ask the right questions, ask the right people. And we'd love to hear your thoughts too, if you have any different opinions.
Yeah, please. Dude, that's what it's all about. Let us hear it. And
unless you disagree with us. If you disagree with us, then you're wrong. Just kidding.
That comment will be hidden.
Yeah. Delete.
No, I think the same way. That's the thing about it. It's, you get into this discussion with people, and I've discussed it with, I guess, every side you can hear, if there's more than two sides. But if you believed that you cannot lose your salvation, and I'm just saying, if I believed that you can, I'm not going to downgrade you or degrade you over your belief. We're talking now, I would discuss it with you, hear your side, you hear my side, and we're going to, like you said, that's when we need to take the Bible, read it, pray about it, and hear from God. Let Him lead us. That's why it's called the living word. He's going to speak to us through His word.
Right.
And then we take that, and that's our belief. But we're not supposed to go to the person that disagrees with us or believes a different way and be like, dude, you're wrong. You're going to hell because you cut your hair or something like that. You're not supposed to do that. You're just supposed to love people, man. It's okay that they're wrong. Just tell them what you believe. It's not our job to force it on them. I think that's the biggest thing, because that's what pushes people away, is you forcing your beliefs on them.
Oh yeah. And also another thing, the Bible doesn't need you don't have to justify what the Bible says.
That's good.
You don't just talk about what the Bible said. There's so many things that, and I'm guilty of this too, that are taboo to talk about, as far as like,
Oh yeah,
pastors, and I it's easy for me to sit on this couch and say like, oh, I wish pastors would bring up, this and that topic more. That's a hard spot to be in. I don't know the it's hard. That's a different platform.
yeah,
There's a conviction there that I'm not aware of. I'm not sure. But I do think that we do not need to be trying to justify what the Bible says or trying to pamper the Bible.
oh yeah.
I think
Not hurt feelings or something like that.
Right. And not that I'm not I want to be sensitive to people, and I want to meet them where they're at, but also this is what the Bible says.
Yeah.
But I'm not condoning you. I'm not saying that I'm not telling you I don't want to come from a place of judgment, because I didn't do anything to earn this.
Mm-hmm.
And God put me on mission to share this.
Yeah.
And if I hated you, I wouldn't tell you this. Yeah. I love you, and I like this is what it says.
That's like the what was he, a magician?
Mm-hmm.
That I think and he said that. How much do you have to hate somebody to truly believe that Jesus Christ came, died, was buried, resurrected, and he's coming back, and not tell somebody that?
Right.
And boy, I think about that a lot, because when you have those moments where somebody comes by and you just have this feeling like, man, I ought to tell them, but then you're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you were supposed to right then,
Yeah. I do that a lot.
Oh boy.
So I think about like praying for people.
Yeah.
And just planting, planting that seed, whatever that looks like. I get so nervous.
So hard,
I don't know. And that is 100% a spiritual attack.
Yeah.
And the enemy has perfected that attack to where it is so hard and awkward. It is like the most taboo thing in today's culture to bring up the gospel.
Yeah. But dude, you can talk about so much other stuff, like, just like that. I don't know why that's like that.
And Keith Bamberg, he brought up a really good point. He talked about when Paul talks about pray without ceasing, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are praying like God.
Like we should be praying right now.
Yeah, like pray, like, constantly praying. It's a posture. It's a, how the Bible talks about incense?
Yeah.
Like day and night, night and day, let incense arise. I don't know if that's a Bible verse. I know it's a song, but it's a Bible verse, I think. But, constantly your incense are being lifted to heaven. And that's the same as like your posture, how you carry yourself, how you're constantly in tune with the Spirit, and you're looking for things.
Yeah.
You're looking for opportunities, and you're sensitive to the Spirit. You're allowing yourself to be obedient. And, as soon as I feel led, I want to be obedient, no matter how hard it is.
I think that's and by the way, we didn't have notes on this. This was off the top of our heads. We didn't have, this is just something, man, that was laid on our heart to talk about. So
we're super smart.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that to kind of sum that question up, because I know we went a little ways away and stuff, but,
I love it.
But the faith is what's key is faith in Jesus. If we lost that faith in Jesus, what would our life change? The way I look at that question is that's making me think, okay, my day-to-day life, if I lost my faith in Jesus, would people around me see a difference in my life, or would I see a difference? For me, obviously we say that we're not perfect. There would be a difference because one thing, we wouldn't be doing this. But if I break that down, I'm not going to do that right now. But if I'm gonna be thinking about that question, because if I break that down, what is outside of this and some other things, what would look different? So, or maybe what do I need to change because I say I have faith in Jesus? What do I need to change in my life?
Yeah, because it can be in your mind all the time. You can be thinking about it all the time, but are you putting it into action? Just like that.
That's what I was about to say. Well, I think the one thing I heard one time is changed my life is you can listen to these motivational videos, get hyped up, not do anything about it. Just like we said earlier. You can read the Bible or go to church. That's the biggest one. You go to church on Sunday, you get hyped up. This week, I'm doing different. That's a good message he gave. I'm going to do this, this, and that. Guess what? Monday morning, or maybe when you leave church, you don't ever do it again.
Yeah.
It's just a good thought, a good verse, whatever. But I think we should take verses or new ideas, new lessons, and implement them. Just one at a time could be a big, just think about if you did that, just say one a month over a year, your life would look completely different.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that if you're in tune with the Spirit, and I say that in tune, if you're abiding in the Spirit, you're allowing the Spirit to move and speak into your life and what you do, then I think it'd be hard to not see a difference. If that were the case, if it was one day I'm in tune with the Spirit, I'm allowing it to speak into my life, and I'm listening to what it says, versus the next day not doing that. Because one, like the person that goes to the church service and says, "Man, that was a really good sermon. I'm going to do better this week." No, you're not. Cuz you can't you can't earn it. You can't do better. God's not going to there's a Bible verse that says your good deeds are that of filthy rags. Like you cannot. Whatever you think is your best day is God's worst day. You know what I mean? Like there's nowhere near. You can never come near the holiness and the perfection of God.
Oh yeah.
And so there's no way you can earn it. There's no good thing you can do. You can be a really good person, but that doesn't matter to the kingdom.
No.
It doesn't. Sorry. It's the Spirit that is changing you and transforming you and exposing the bad.
Yeah.
And bringing and highlighting the good.
Yeah.
Saying, go this way. Don't go that way. Go this way.
Yeah. All right. So I think I'm going to wrap this up with a question that you're not going to answer, but we want you to think about all week. This was from that same book. And Brandon shared this with me.
Privately?
Yes.
Wow.
You were not included.
What a friend.
You probably know the question.
Probably,
so this ties in with that. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Hope I don't get this wrong. So if Jesus was not in heaven, would you still want to go there? Is that still your destination when you leave this earth? If Jesus is not there?
I know the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you knew, I'm not, you said it right, but I'm going to add, if that's all right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like if you knew that every day, like if you went to heaven, you would have everything you wanted. You would have the house, the truck, the boat,
everything
that you could ever want, but Jesus was not there and God was not there.
There you go. That was it. Yeah.
Would you still want to go?
Yeah, I know. Oh, he asked me that. We were at the pizza place in the middle of people, and I was just like, I couldn't even say anything.
Yeah, stop eating pizza. Threw up.
But yeah, I mean, I think those are good questions. The whole point of these questions is just to get your mind thinking, what are you really in it for?
Yeah.
It's just good questions, man, to dissect.
And we're asking ourselves too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a major gut punch because we do not have it together.
No.
And we do not live these things perfectly. We're talking about it. We're learning too. So
yeah, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. So we gave you a couple good questions there to think about. Sorry that they're hard and maybe a little convicting there. I'm not sure. I know they are for me. So anyway, we appreciate y'all tuning in to our Come On podcast, and we hope y'all enjoy this and come back next week.
Yeah. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Love y'all.